information or to donate, browse GetLoudArkansas.org. For more information or to donate, browse GCLO.
Thank you, my son. There it is. You see a little bit of it. Okay.
We're live.
Stacey Hamilton, Keith Ingram, Jana Knight, Don Piper, Maggie Hogan, Representative Jamie Scott, and Senator Clark Tucker. We hope to see you there. Let's all get loud for Floyd.
Now that the Arkansas Supreme Court has denied a petition to put an abortion rights measure on the November ballot, proponents of women's reproductive rights say they are not giving up. The case was sent to the High Court after the Arkansas Secretary of State rejected the petition because members of Arkansans for Limited Government didn't submit required paperwork for paid workers who gathered signatures. The group's Jenny Diaz says they want to give Arkansans the right to choose, but legislators keep changing the rules.
The Constitution of Arkansas says that you need to gather signatures from 15 Arkansas counties out of the 75. The legislature last session passed a law saying that they're bumping it up to 50, which is an extreme jump.
Under Arkansas's current law, abortions can only be performed if the mother's life is in danger. The proposed amendment would have allowed abortion care up to 18 weeks after fertilization, and in cases of rape, incest, threats to the mother's life, or if it was believed the fetus wouldn't survive. About 14,000 of the petition signatures were collected by paid canvassers, but the Secretary of State says those names couldn't be counted because of the missing paperwork. Without those signatures, the group didn't have the 90,000 names needed to have the issue placed on the ballot. Diaz says proponents of a woman's right to choose can make their voices heard by voting.
From city council all the way to the state legislature, constitutional offices asked them their opinion on this petition, and if it was something you supported, I think that should definitely weigh into what people decide at the ballot box.
The measure faced heavy opposition from abortion opponents in the state. The nonprofit Family Council Action Committee had vowed to challenge the proposed constitutional amendment in court if it made it onto the ballot. Following the ruling, GOP Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders posted on the social media platform X that the far-left pro-abortion crowd in Arkansas showed they are both immoral and incompetent. I'm Freda Ross, Arkansas News Service. Find our trust indicators at publicnewsservice.org.
Rent is too damn high, and too many rent houses and apartments aren't fit to live in. We have a housing crisis in our cities, our rural areas, and our country. It's time for a change. Housing is a human right. Join us for our House Everyone Town Hall on Tuesday, August 27th at 6 p.m. at UA Little Rock downtown at 333 President Clinton Avenue in the River Market District. We've invited federal, state, and local elected officials and candidates for Congress, state legislature, Little Rock Board of Directors, and North Little Rock City Council to attend. Be a part of a movement that won't stop until we win housing for everyone. That's Tuesday, August 27th at 6 p.m. at UA Little Rock downtown at 333 President Clinton Avenue. For more information, call Arkansas Community Organizations at 501-376-7151.
And after our machine information
You so black. You smile, the stars come out. You so black when you born, the God come out, black is not. Black when it's wrong and black when it's right. Black is perfect in mathematics. Black is colonized in magic. Black is televised in need of drastic. Black enhances, black with chances, black with privilege, black with pride, black on purpose on the black hand side. Black is me. Black is you. Black is not something we get to choose, but it is something we get to cherish. It's something we get to wear, and we get to rock this with honor. I'm black like my granddaddy and my great-great-great-great-grandma. Black is that just every voice is singing. Black is that letting your freedom ring and resound. Black is adjective, adverb, color, and noun. You so black. Oh, you so black. When you smile, the stars come out. Baby, you so black. When you're born, the God come out.
Yes, bringing us in with some spoken word this morning. You so black. Yes, we'll be sourcing our conversation in that particular spoken word along with our EJI tidbit for today. You are live right here at Community Voices on KABF 88.3 FM, where we are the voice of the people. And we greet you in the Zulu tribal greeting of Sawubona. Sawubona is the spirit of oneness that reminds us that we are interconnected because of our humanity. There is absolutely nothing that you can do that can keep me from being connected to you through the spirit of our humanness, our oneness. And that's the spirit that we greet you in on this morning. And we greet you with gratitude, knowing that we would not be here if it were not for you. 40 years we are celebrating this year. 40 years of local community radio, 100,000 watts, one of only 12 100,000 watts local community stations. And we are one of them because of you. Every time you show up for us, we are grateful. No matter what the showing up looks like, whether you're calling us on the phone at 501-433-0088, whether you're walking up your donation, whether or not you're calling in to challenge or to encourage or to push back, whatever you are doing to celebrate us, to support us, to encourage us, to remind us, we are grateful for you on this morning and every morning, not just on Community Voices, but on every single show that is aired on this station. We are glad that you are here. I see your hotel. Ooh, I see you, Phyllis Hammond. What? You found it. Phyllis Hammond. Oh my goodness, we were church members. Well, look, I was a little baby toddler you was watching grow up in the church. And look, here you are. Thank you so much for being present with us. We got a special guest in the house today. Online again, we have Miss Johnnie Walker. I'm going to allow her to introduce herself in just a minute. But first, I need to give you a few announcements. On Saturday, Labor Day weekend, August 31st, seems like that ought to be this Saturday. This Saturday, August 31st, Labor Day weekend from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m., One Love and the Youth Community Advocates of Barren Cross in North Little Rock present Arkansas Reggae Festival 2024, happening at the Argenta Green Park, 300 Bishop Lindsay Avenue in North Little Rock, Arkansas. Early bird tickets are on sale right now. www.arreggaefestival.com. arreggaefestival.com. That's arreggaefestival.com. I'm laughing because people are listening to the PSAs and they're like, well, at least we know she know how to spell. I'm trying to help you spell too. Takia Bars, what? I used to teach you, girl. I'm following you and your family on Facebook. So, oh my goodness. Thank you for showing up in this space for us. It's so good to see you. We want you to know that the proceeds are the proceeds to benefit the Young Community Advocates of Barren Cross. That's where this money is going when you show up at the Arkansas Reggae Festival this weekend, August 31st, from 3 to 10 p.m. For sponsorship opportunities, for vendor opportunities, and for more information, call 501-744-8842. For sponsorship opportunities, for vendor opportunities, and for more information, dial 501-744-8842. The Central Arkansas Library System, also known as CALS, is excited to announce that the 2024 Six Bridges Book Festival will be held September 23rd through 29th, 2024. This year's festival chairperson is Senator Joyce Elliott, a CALS board member and former high school English teacher. The event will feature award-winning, best-selling, and emerging authors in virtual and in-person sessions and special events. Most festival events will be free and open to the public. Most festival events will be held at CALS's Library Square in downtown Little Rock. Authors will continue to be announced throughout the summer. For more information, go to www.cals.org. For more information, go to www.cals.org. Those are your announcements for this morning. Also, along with what you heard before we came in today, please govern yourself accordingly. Now, let me just is not in the studio. He is actually in his office doing the work of the people. He works for the people. He keeps reminding me of what the presidential nominee Kamala Harris says. I'm a Kamala Harris for the people. So this morning he is Pastor Toney Orr for the people, doing the work to make sure that those who are experiencing whatever workplace situationships they are experiencing, that he is right there to fight right by their sides to get them the freedom and the liberation that they need and the respect and all of that, whatever comes with the work that he does. And so he is not here, but we do have Miss Johnnie Walker. Miss Johnnie Walker. And we've never met.
No.
But I remember when I first talked to you on the phone, you were like, Johnnie Walker. I was like, Johnnie Walker. You were like, yes, just like the liquor. You were like, yes, just like the liquor. So look, say something to us, greet us, let us know what you want us to know about who you are. Introduce yourself to us. Let me make sure we can hear you first. Let's just say a couple of words. Let me make sure.
Okay, good morning. Good morning. Hello. How are you? Can you hear me? Is my mic working? What they say at the show, mic check one, check two. Can you hear me?
Make sure they can hear you.
All right.
They'll let us know if they can't hear you.
Okay.
Keep talking.
Okay, mic check one. Here we are this morning. We're on Community Voices. Looking forward to a serious chat this morning. Just to talk about some good things. Talk about myself. Talk about what I'm doing. Talk about maybe what we can do. I heard you say just a moment ago, Brother Orr, for the people. I love that. I love that. Just an opportunity to reach out and touch people. You know, us. You know, I heard the old saying, it takes a village, and that it does. It takes all of us working together, unified, trying to achieve the same goal that will, you know, enforce us to, you know, do the things that we are trying to do. But we do it better together. We do it stronger together. We are stronger together. I'm just looking forward to, you know, what the future holds.
All right. Sounds like you are living into that spirit of oneness, the we-ness, the togetherness. Yes. Oh, yes. Wait a minute. I wonder if people have heard you, because we've been talking and I had the button picked. I hope that they can. Okay. I hope that they have heard you. And so we're going to we're going to keep going because we'll feel your spirit through what you are saying. But I want to give us our EJI tidbit for today. The Equal Justice Initiative sends out a yearly calendar to remind us of the racial injustice that this world continues to suffer. And it roots it in our past, our present, and asks us to consider how we are going to work together to eliminate these kinds of injustices in our future, especially our very near future. So on August 27th, which would be today, 1960, segregationists wielding bats and axe handles attacked civil rights activists staging a lunch counter sit-in in Jacksonville, Florida. On Tuesday, August 27th in 1960, segregationists wielding bats and axe handles attacked civil rights activists staging a lunch counter sit-in in Jacksonville, Florida. Apparently, these segregationists, the word meaning people who believe in segregation, people who pursue segregation, people who believe in the
They are anti-mingling. They don't want white folks to mingle with black folks, because I'm trying to use a word other than separate. If you don't know what separate means, let me use another word. If you don't think that people should share space if they are of a different race. And so these segregationists are using their bats, their axe handles to attack people who are simply staging a sit-in to say, listen, we want to demonstrate what the spoken word poet says. Black is enough to be celebrated. Black is enough all by itself to be celebrated. Black is adverb, adjective, color, and noun. Black is everything. Black is all of that and more. And until we as a world are able to embrace that, we will continue to have situations where black people are not honored. And so what we do in this space at Community Voices is that we honor the voices of black folks. We honor the stories of black folks, but we set it in the context of our overall struggle as humans for liberation. And so it does take all of us working together in our lanes, in our context, to make sure that everybody is free. Because if one person is not free, none of us are free. So until we are all free, this struggle continues. And that is the work that I believe that you are doing. I also picked this because of you, Miss Johnnie Walker, because I know that you have established an organization that focuses on Blackness. It focuses on Black womanness. And so I thought that this would be appropriate. You have this Black woman reminding us of who we are as Black folks, and then rooting that in the past that we are continuing to just like suffer through, so that we can get to the place where everybody can enjoy Black joy. Everybody can fall in love with Black joy. Everybody can appreciate Black joy. So tell us a little bit about your organization.
Okay, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the organization, but you just struck a chord with me a moment ago when you were talking about what happened in Jacksonville, and it just brought back a memory. Like I said, I can speak to it, not something I read about, but more or less something that I experienced being a young teenager in high school. I grew up in Grenada, Mississippi, and that was exactly what we experienced one morning. The whites came and got all of their kids out of school. And, you know, as you're a kid in school, and you're constantly hearing Jane Doe come to the office, Jane Doe come to the office, you don't really pay it any attention. And what was happening was they were getting all of their kids out of school. So at noon, when the bell rang for us to go to lunch, we all come running out of the building. And as we are running out of the building, they were standing outside, chains, axe handles, bats, clubs. And as kids, we are kids now. Kids running out of the building to go to lunch, and they were out there waiting on us. And fortunately for me, a young man that at that time was my boyfriend grabbed me, and we were able to lock ourselves in the auditorium and stand on chairs and look out the window and see what was happening. And we watched our friends just literally get beaten, and all they were doing that morning was going to school. They did not want Black kids in the same school, with the white kids. And so that was their way of retaliation. They took all of their kids out of school. No one was in school but us. And when we left to go to lunch, walking out the building, that's when they started grabbing the kids. And
How old are you?
That memory flashed when I was listening to you, and I just had to share that that it's so sad that even here it is 2024, and we are still reading about these things. We're still hearing about these things. These things are still happening. It is very, very important. It is very critical, as I heard in the speeches. We are not going back. Listen, we are not going back. We have struggled. We have died. Blood has been shed. We have suffered so much that it's like going back to who and what and where. No way. And like I said, I just, that flashed when I heard you read that that actually happened. And it wasn't something I read. I witnessed it. Wow. And had it not been for the young man that grabbed me, I probably would have been outside with my friends and right in the melee and all of the stuff that was going on. But we definitely are stronger together. We need to work together. We need to listen. We need to read as much as we can. We need to understand these things that are happening, these laws that are on the books. Some of them are actually still legal. So it's just very important for us to come together, stick together, be together. Unity is our key. and we just gotta listen to one another. No one knows everything. We all can learn. We all can be educated. We can grasp more. As I said earlier, it takes a village. I don't do what you do. You don't do what I do, but we can learn from each other and we can grow from each other.
I want you to, for just a moment, just give me a
Okay.
little more detail. How old were you when you witnessed this?
I was 14. I was
You were
in high
14.
school. I just went into high school. I was 14 years old. Yes.
And then you were watching the parents of the children beat your classmates, or was it the children and the parents?
No, it was mostly parents. These were adults. These were adults.
These were
All the,
adults.
yeah, we were just kids. This was I'm saying put the calendar on me, but this was like 1970. This I believe like 1970 when the schools were integrated, and like I said, I'm in Mississippi. And there was the black high school and there was the white high school, and so at this particular point it was now legal for us to attend their high school, but they just weren't having it. They did not want it to happen, and so that was their form of retaliation. Okay, we'll show you, but it's not like, certainly not, don't want anybody to say that they would accost our parents, but our parents were at work. We were at school. And so they attacked the kids.
Yeah, I want to pause for just a moment here. I want to pause because one of the things that I'm still reading the book, Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome, and what Dr. Joy DeGruy is asking us to do is to pause for a moment sometimes and think about what it feels like to have experienced these things that we have, these traumas, these atrocities that happen to us physically, but that we also carry on the inside of our bodies. And so by me reading the tidbit and you saying just the reading of the tidbit evoked in you immediately this visceral reaction of what you experienced as a 14-year-old child who was, you were defenseless. Like all you did, you were just walking out with nothing in your hands. You didn't have
Right.
know it was a war. You didn't know it was a fight. You didn't know it was a battle. You were just trying to go to lunch. And so I just want to pause for a moment so that we can just sit with your story and think about what that must have felt like for a 14-year-old to be standing on chairs and looking out the windows, not able to help your fellow students, and you're watching grown folks beat them for no other reason than because they are Black. So I just want to pause for a moment. Let us sit with that for just a minute. And I want to say thank you for sharing your story. Like we read these tidbits and it's me reading from a sheet of paper, right? Yeah. And so for you to like, no, let me give life to this. Like, let me let it come alive for you. Like, let me let you know.
True.
And you keep saying it. This ain't what somebody told me. This
Right.
is what I heard somebody say. Like, this is what I witnessed. And so there's no other gift that we can receive than the gift of story. And so we really appreciate you sharing. I do need to make one more announcement before you get into your organization. Okay. I completely forgot. You are invited to our resource fair, a day of resource, and this is sponsored by Sage Health, a wiser healthcare for seniors. And it's happening today at 10:30, so in about an hour, from 10:30 to 2 p.m. at Mosaic Church, located at 6221 Colonel Glenn Road, Suite A in Little Rock, 72205. There will be a food drive, all insurance vendors, blood pressure checks, A1C checks. There will be vendors assisting with housing and food disparities. There will be doctors' offices presented. All things health related will be there. And for more information, you can contact Tamara Thomas at 501-400-0481. For more information, contact Tamara Thomas, 501-400-0481 for the resource fair that is happening today from 10:30 to 2 p.m. at the Mosaic Church. Light refreshments will be provided. Okay, thank you for that. Now, you were going to tell us about your organization that you have established.
Okay, I was trying to turn a little bit there. It looked like I'm don't have it positioned right, but the organization is NABFEME, NABFEME. It stands for the National Association of Black Female Executives in Music and Entertainment. It's a nonprofit networking empowerment resource base for women in the business of music. This organization was formed based on my experiences, based on my career. As I told you a moment ago, from Grenada, Mississippi, I always wanted to be a radio announcer. And the funny thing is that in that environment, I was always told that, never happen. You'll never, because I mean, come on, it just, the only radio stations that was in Grenada was country radio stations, and obviously they did not have any blacks working there. But I just continued to knock on the door, continue to take my tapes. He would always laugh at me, but I love sharing that. The one time that I did walk up to him with a tape in my hand, and he said, "Well, what is different from the ones you brought before?" And I'm just really going into hard sales, selling myself as to why I should be at that radio station. And he actually hired me that day. And the thing that I remember him saying, I don't know, he said exactly, "I don't know what the hell she's going to do. We're going to hire her." So he hired me. And, as fate would have it, eventually I did get on the air. And that just led me from that country radio station to wanting to be in Black music. And I left the station, went to an R&B station in Memphis. And from that station, a thing that was pivoting in my career, which again, leading to our starting this organization, I'm at the radio station and we're going through a series of planning, and marketing and things. And so one of the guys in the room said, he was talking, and I said, "You guys, the target demographic is females 18 to 34. You guys talk women, but there's no woman making any decisions here. You don't know what I like. You don't know where I want to shop. You don't know, you can't think like me. You're a man. I mean, a woman should be making some of these decisions." And I said, "In fact, I feel like a woman should be programming this radio station." Oh, golly, they all laughed. They was like, "Women don't program." And I was like, "What do you mean women don't program?" And he said, "Well, tell me a female programmer that you know." Unfortunately, I did not know one. So I just made it up in my mind. I am going to program this radio station. That was the number one thing for me every day. I learned as much as I could. I taught myself, I'm going to program this radio station. Fortunately for me, the last 2 years that I was at this particular radio station, I was the program director. I did take the radio station to number 2. And what happened in my career, I was not playing rap music. And back then, let's say pre-Facebook, pre-Twitter, pre-streaming, all of these nuances that we have today, you had to go to the music conferences. There was the BRE, there was the Urban Network, there was the Impact, Jack the Rap. You had to go to these conferences for people to know who you are and what you do. So I was at a conference and 2 gentlemen came up to me with some rap music. And I was explaining to them that I didn't play rap music. The way that I'm able to take my radio station to number 2 is I'm not doing the same thing that my competitor is doing. And so we're just going back and forth. We're going back and forth. You got to play this record. You got to play this record. And I'm like, whatever. Anyway, that Monday, they called me and offered me a job. And that gentleman was Russell Simmons. And he was it was like the early stages of Def Jam. And so he said, I just need somebody that you're not afraid to talk. You're not afraid to just say what's on your mind. He said, so if you were to talk about my company and talk about my artists, the same way you did that radio station, he said, I could, you would really be beneficial to my company. And I was like, I don't know anything about the record industry. I mean, my entire career is radio. He says, whatever you need to know, I'll teach you, but please consider coming to work for me. Well, I didn't consider it simply because I didn't have any background in the record industry. My background was radio. But at this particular point in my life and in my career, I'm divorced. I'm a single parent. They call me back with this crazy salary. I was like, you're going to pay me what? To do what? So I took the job. I knew nothing about the record industry. But I think the unique thing that I had was I could talk. You cannot out-talk me. We go back and forth. And so they hired me and I went to work for Def Jam. And the thing that was unique for me was I knew radio and they didn't. They know how to make records. They knew how to go to the studio and make records. They didn't know a thing about radio. The only thing I knew about radio was go to the radio station and ask the guy to play records. Nah, I knew radio technique. I knew how programmers make the decision to play a particular record. So I brought that energy to the company. And it was such a great energy and a great source of knowledge that in a very little time, I went from being a local rep to a national. I find myself a vice president, and I get the big phone call, we want you to move to New York. And I went to New York. I was senior vice president at Def Jam. I was there for 17 years. I left Def Jam when I was, I like to say, wooed. But Steven Spielberg had DreamWorks Records, and they had created a Black division. And so they wanted to just go into this whole Black music thing. And, they offered me the position. And for me, that was really like pivotal in my career to be head of Black music, because there just weren't a lot of Black females that were in positions like that. And so understanding everything from that country radio station of constantly knocking on that door, trying to get that guy to at least listen to my tape, to the conversation of, I believe women should program this radio station, to my back and forth with Russell Simmons, to, wow, I am the senior vice president of the hottest record label in the country. At that time, it was Montel Jordan, This Is How We Do It. You had
This is how we do it.
Oh my gosh, some of the biggest records. DMX was big, Ashanti was big, Drew Hill was big. A lot of our artists were doing extremely well. Jay-Z was big. They were doing well. And so I'm at the top of the food chain. So that is like, okay, how can I empower someone else? They don't have to do what I did. It does not have to be as hard for the next person as it was for me, but I need to share the knowledge. I need to make sure that somebody else understands and knows. And so when it's time for me to step away from this seat, hopefully someone that looks like me can take this seat. So then I set out I started doing seminars is what we started doing. We just started doing seminars, and it evolved into the organization. Then I started reaching out to other women that were in retail, women that were in distribution, women that were in radio, women that were in the record industry. And I shared with them, let's come together. Let's come together. Let's teach one another. I don't do what you do. You don't do what I do, but together, how strong we can be. And so that is how it started. And we introduced the organization to the industry. And of course, now I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it was easy. It was not. Because there were a lot of the guys was like, what do you need? Why do you guys need an organization? What are you doing? It doesn't, come on, you're at the top of the food chain. Why are you doing this? I have to do this. I have to. If I don't teach somebody else, when the master turns the lights out, then all of this information is going to be in that 6-foot hole. And that's not right. That's not fair. I've traveled this world. Through Def Jam. I've worked in London. I've worked in Germany. I've worked in Amsterdam. All of this from a little girl in Grenada, Mississippi, watched her friends get beat up simply because they went to school. So we go from that to here, and I'm not telling anybody. I'm not sharing it. I'm not empowering somebody else. No, that's not right. That's not right. So we just set out on a mission to teach all who would listen. And of course, for those that didn't want to listen, I understand that too. But the organization, its entire movement, its body is about teaching. It is about sharing information. And I know we're at a new time now. I still speak at schools and what have you. And I understand. I talk to young people all the time. I understand. I said, but my thing about technology, and I don't want you to feel that I'm walking away from the technology. I am not. It's just that the technology may have made a lot of things easier, but in a lot of cases, it did not make it better. That we've reduced our art to a link. It's like, it's just let's send a link. Let's put it on Spotify and voila, throw everything up against the wall and see what happens. I still think that Black music is such a unique art, and it still needs to be manifested in a cultural way in the community with people. You cannot take people out. And that's what we've done. Everything is point and click now. So let me send you the link. Here's my new song. Here's the link. You don't know who the person is. You know nothing about them, but you got the link. And it's I don't know. It's not that I try to go away from that. It's just that I try to add to it to say, okay, so we got the technology. Let's not let's understand the art here. Let's understand the music. Let's understand what goes into creating the music, and let's take it to the next level. Let's not be a one-trick pony. We got a record today, and next week we don't know your name. It's like I was talking to Allison Williams yesterday. We were talking, and I said, it's just like Shaka Khan. I'm every woman. That song is as potent today as it was 40 years ago. But you have songs that come out today, next week. I forgot the artist's name. We didn't even know who it is. But, we just want to share. We just want to share. We just want to teach anyone, all that will listen, all that will be empowered by the journey that we've been on. We're willing to share that information. And that's what the organization is.
You've actually sparked some more stories as you have been talking. So we've got Virgil Miller on here. What's up? In 1966, I was a 13-year-old integrating Fuller Junior High. He had just moved here. We had just moved here from Berkeley, California. What a shock.
I can imagine.
I think that this goes back to what you were saying about the importance of sharing, the importance of making sure that the stories do not die, the importance of making sure that the lessons that we learned from the struggles that we've been through, that they do not die, that we do not give someone else the opportunity to co-opt our narratives and share them the way that they want to share them or choose not to share them. But what we have gone through in the context in which we have gone through it, that we take a moment and build a village, build a network, build a connection, and we share what we have, even those stories that are painful. And I think that's what happens to Black folks in particular. Much of our history has been lost because it's so painful for those of you who have actually gone through it, those of you who have actually witnessed this. It still traumatizes your body for you to share it. And so you just choose not to for your own health and healing. And we understand that. And just like you were talking about the both and of the industry, yes, I understand we are in a new age where you can send a link, but we also need that physical touch, that physical presence, your energy in the room. And so we know that we have to help you heal from the trauma. So we don't want to force you into telling stories, and we still need to hear those stories. So how do we find that healthy balance? So if anybody else has a story that you'd like to share, along with Miss Johnnie Walker, along with Virgil Miller, about traumas that you have experienced in your body that help us continue to shape who we are as a nation, as a world, so that we can find our way in it and locate ourselves in what it is that we're being called to do. Because that's another thing that I hear you saying, Miss Johnnie Walker. Like, you have said this more than once. You don't do what I do. I don't do what you do. So it's not about me trying to be you. It's not about me trying to compete with you. It's not about me trying to usurp you. It's not about me trying to be better than you. It's about me recognizing that I am divinely gifted, just like you are divinely gifted. And with the gifts that we have, if we bring them to the table together, then we are able to move forward in a more powerful way because we are using everything that we have to get us to where we're trying to go. And I know that you've said that more than once. And so I just wanted to make sure that I highlight that, the importance of understanding that we're asking people to find your lane. We're not asking you to get into somebody else's lane. We're not asking you to be somebody that you are not. We're not asking you to pretend. We are not asking you to be complicit. We are not asking you to do anything other than shine as your own self.
Listen, I think I heard Michael Jordan say it. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that's what I heard say it. Everybody plays a role. Yeah, he was great. He was fabulous in what he did, but he didn't do it by himself. Everybody had a distinct role. And that's really the important thing when I say I don't do what you do, you don't do what I do, because again, as you just said, in your lane, and we all play a role. And when you understand your role, when you understand your contribution, when you understand what you are bringing to the table, that just makes the meal great. You're the potatoes, you're the rice, you're the vegetable, you're the meat, you're the whatever, you're the dessert, whatever your role is, play your role. And when you play your role and we play it all together to achieve the same goal, you can't stop us. We gotta win. We gotta win. And that is something that I experienced during my tenure at Def Jam. I was running, say, the promotions and marketing department, but I had like 35 people. listen, anytime when I'm missing one of those people, something was missing. But what one of the things that I think that made us so unique is I made sure everybody, even though this is your role, I need you to understand this person's role. So if this person, whatever, it can't come to the office, we still got somebody that can do what that person did. So we learn from each other. That's not my specific role, but I know how to do it. I'm not a driver, but I can drive the car. Okay, that's not what I do every day. I don't drive the car, but I do know how to drive. And it's again, like I said, understanding your role and playing your role. And when we all play together, we win. We simply win.
Well, I'm interested in when you say that you were at the top of the chain, and when you say that you were that the organization that you have now is about making sure that you are teaching and that you are sharing. I wonder what is it that you look for when, so say for instance, I come to you and I say, hey, I want you to be my mentor. I want you to help develop me. What is it that you are looking for that will help you see what it is in me that can be brought forward so that I can be in my lane, so that I can shine, so that I can play my role, so that I can make the contribution that only I can make, even though you can learn it, I'm the one that can do it. And so like, what is it that you are looking for in a person that says, you know what, yes, I'm going to work with you, I'm going to help you, I'm going to get you there?
I look for drive. I look for passion. I look for determination. I look for a plan. If you just like you want the conversation to be short, when you tell me, "Oh, I just want to pick your brain," that's gonna be a short conversation. That's gonna be a very short conversation. A lot of times, I tell people all the time, mentoring you or helping you, it's not a one-way street. I'm not here to just pour. What do you have? What is your plan? What are you trying to achieve? And if you have no plan, you just feel like, I just as a young man told me one time, look, I don't want to hear all that. I just want to get my record on the radio. Short conversation, because he really, it wasn't really so much for him that he wanted to understand the business. He just wanted to get his record on the radio. So I was very clear that this is not somebody that I want to work with, because he does not want to do any work. He just wants his song on the radio, point blank. That was it.
Yeah. So, but what about those people? But what about those people who are, say, I don't have a plan, but the reason I don't have a plan is because I have not had access to people like you. Like, you're the first Black woman I know that I've met who's been vice president of music in the music industry. So I've never had the opportunity to even see somebody reflected in this space. And it's not that I don't have a plan. I don't know how to. I'm interested. I'd be more than happy to learn. I'm interested in learning. I want to know everything I can know, but I just don't have a clue because I do not have access. I have not had the opportunities. I do not have the resources. I have not been in the spaces. What happens then?
Okay, I don't care about that. I'm listening to you. I'm listening to your goals. That's what I'm talking about. When I say plan, I mean, you got to have some goals. You got to know what you want. Because I'm going to waste your time and you're going to waste mine if you don't know what you want. So sometimes it's like us talking. I will have conversations, just maybe I can pull things out of you to help you understand that maybe this is the path. Like, for instance, I have people say to me, well, I just want to be in the music business. Well, what do you want to do? There has to be something that you have your eye on, but people, they don't have their eye on it. I just want to be in the music business. Okay, doing what? So I try to pull maybe a desire, a goal or something out of the person. And then now we got something to work with. Do you want to work with, I'm just making up stuff now. Do you want to work with artists? Do you want to work in fashion? Do you want to work in film? Do you want to work maybe maybe you want to be in design, makeup design? Maybe you want to be in set design. Do you want to build a stage? Do you want to tour? Let's pick something and focus on that. And then we can grow from that. But we can't just be out in the woods going, hey, I'm in the music business. Doing what? You want to be able to excel at something. Again, if we go back to my career, my thing, I was excelling in radio. That's what I did. But then I was introduced to this whole new world of the record industry. I didn't know anything about it. But what was my goal? My goal was to take care of my kid. That's my being honest. My goal was to take care of my kid, and this was an opportunity to do that. So in order to be able to take care of my kid and put my kid through school, I had to learn what these people are doing. And that's and so for me to be able to learn that, now I set a new goal. I want to be the next national. Okay, well, how do you become a national? What does a national do? Oh, I want to be vice president. What does vice president do? So I'm just saying, a lot of times, like you just said, I don't know, but there's got to be that something that you want. There's got to be that something that keeps you up at night, or you're in bed, but you can't sleep because it's in your head. It's going over and over and over. That's something. Maybe you're the person, you love doing makeup. You love it. And you hadn't thought about it as a career, but when you do it, I mean, it's like a transformation. Wow. Let's talk about that, because there's so many people that don't understand the art of makeup for whether it's photo shoots, TV, or whatever they're doing. So it's a myriad of things that a person can do, but it's understanding. So I try to pull those goals and desires out of young people when I'm talking to them.
But I think you tapped into something that I want to spend a little time on, though, because if you ask me, most of the time when people are talking to me and we're trying to talk issues, we're trying to talk strategies, we're trying to talk tactics, and we have to bottomline.com this. What is it that we are really fighting? And in a lot of those conversations, what we are fighting is poverty. And so when I hear a person say to you, now I'm not sitting in your seat from my perspective as a cultural strategist. When I hear a person say, look, I'm just trying to get in the music industry. I'm just trying to get my record on, trying to get my record play. I'm usually hearing this person say, listen, I've got to find a way to get some money so that I can get up out of this situation that I'm in. And not only do I want the money for me, but my mama and them, I'm trying to break this cycle. I'm trying to get to the next level. How can you get me this money that I need? Not so that I can go and make it rain in the club, which I do know some people do that, but that's not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the person who says, I got a kid, I got a mama, I got a somebody that I got to figure out, how am I going to be able to support myself, and how am I going to be able to support them? How do you help me do that? So I think that that's part of some people's conversations when they say, look, I got to figure out how to make some money.
I think that it's for the that's serious, that you got to make some money. You can make some money at Walmart. You ain't necessarily got to be in the music business just to make some money. That's why I'm going.
But that's my passion, man. That's my passion.
But then you got to. Okay, let me give you an example. A young man came to me. He wanted, just like what you just said. He was trying to get a job. He's trying to get a job at Def Jam. I'm gonna tell you why I hired this young man. This young man sent me a box with a shoe in a big shoe, like a big size 10 shoe in it. He put his resume in the shoe. Out on the box, he said, I'm just trying to get my foot in the door.
I thought he was gonna say I got some big shoes to fill. No. Okay. Yeah, I got it.
It was a big shoe. And I'm just trying to get my foot in the door. Look, I called that young man. I'm like, come see me. Because everybody sends you a resume. Everybody want a job. Everybody trying to make some money. But this young man had the same goal. He just approached it differently. And I said, you know what? Listen, you keep thinking like that, you got a long career ahead of you, because you know how to set yourself apart from the pack. And so I couldn't help but to hire him, because that ingenuity of not just sending a resume, but he said, I'm trying to get my foot in the door and come and walk on in. So I just think that I understand what you just said. I do, but it does take some drive and some initiative from the other person, so that you're able to convince this person that has hiring power that you're the one that they should bring aboard. I mean, a little bit of the onus is on you. I understand, like, I need a job, I got to pay my bills, I get all that. But at the same time, that person that's sitting on the other side of the desk, they've got deadlines, they've got objectives too. And they can't just hire you because you just need a job. They've got to hire the person that's going to help them achieve whatever has been set up on them by, say, the CEO or the other higher ups. And when they're making that choice, they're trying to make that choice. They're trying to pick the best person to help them achieve their goals. Because you can hire anybody. If you I just need a job, I put you in the mail room. Well, you can go down there and sort the mail. I don't know, they probably don't do that now. But we hired people. You don't put people on the street team. You go stand out there and hold the sign up. I can find something for you to do. I don't know how effective that is going to be in terms of you achieving your financial goals. So you've got to show some drive, and there's got to be something from you. You got to say, oh, look, heck, I don't want to stand on the street corner and hold up a sign. Okay, then you don't. Well, what do you want to do? And sometimes it's like pulling hen's teeth. You just got to pull it out of people. But for those aggressive people that young people, middle age, whatever their ages are, for those people that understand what they want and are willing to do the work or do what is necessary to achieve what they want, I just think most employers, that's what they're looking for, because everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to win. Nobody wants to just carry somebody along. I don't see that. It may be happening in places. I don't see it. I think everybody's trying to win.
Okay. I got something to say about that. But first, let me get this shout out to you.
Okay.
Good morning from Los Angeles. #NABFEME. That's from Carolyn Waters Brewer. Belizean Princess Bree. So that's a shout out. Good morning.
That's a long name.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. And from my church member, Mate. Young people today want us to help or mentor them to achieve their dream overnight. They don't seem to understand growth is a step-by-step process. They want big butts right now. So this is what Phyllis Hammond says. Young people today want us to help or mentor them to achieve their dream overnight. They don't seem to understand growth is a step-by-step process. They want the big bucks right now. But she also says she liked that big shoe.
Listen, there is no elevator to success. If it was, everybody be riding on it. Listen, you have to take the steps. And listen, there are exceptions to every rule. Maybe you came up with a great idea, pow, and then there was great success. I'm not saying that it can't happen, but in most cases, you got to take the steps. The elevator to success just does not work for all of us. And a lot of times, when you miss those steps, if you take that elevator to the top and something happens, you don't have a clue of what to do to repair, because you missed all the steps. It is, as she said, as Miss Phyllis said, it is a step-by-step process. Yeah, I know we got all this new technology, we got all these systems, we got all these paradigms, we got all this stuff now. So I don't have to do all that stuff y'all did back in the day. Well, maybe you don't have to do all of it, but you need to do some of it. You need to understand the steps that were necessary to get to where you're going. And like she said, they want to just, hey man, let's push a button. I want to be vice president of whatever this company is, and don't even know the company. Haven't even taken the time out to even understand what the goals and objectives of the company are. But if you're going to be my mentor, then what I need you to do is, because I don't want to be a manager, nothing. No, man. I'm going to go straight to, I need a vice president role. Excuse me? But
I think that the conversation works both ways. So when you say that everybody wants to win, I think that there's some onus on the company to say, what kind of company are we going to be? Because I do believe that there are companies out there who see people who are talented, who see people who are passionate, and they exploit that talent, they exploit that passion for their win without saying, hey, let me take the time to teach you, to show you, to mentor you, to give you every step. I just want what you got because it's going to give me more money in my pocket, and then we're going to move like that. And so I don't think that the onus is always on the person who is coming to the company, but the onus is also on the company to make sure that you are operating with integrity as well as you handle the talent and the people who are coming to you for the win. Oh, here's the Belizean princess says step by step to get into the big shoe. You struck a chord with that big shoe.
Listen, I cannot atone for bad behavior, and there's bad behavior all around. People are not going to have your best interests at heart. I tell young people all the time, artists, young, old, whatever, those contracts, and even today's contract, those contracts are not made for you. Yeah, they're sitting there, they look really good. They look really, really nice. I want to give you an advance to come on in and you're going to be a superstar, not realizing that that's really just a loan. That's all it is. Nobody's not really investing in you.
Say that again. That's really just a loan. Is that what you?
That's just a loan. That's all they're doing. And the only way you win is you don't make any money. If you hit and make money, trust me, they coming back to collect every dime. Everything is recoupable. Everything. So it's like I said, I cannot atone for bad behavior because it's out there. I don't care if it's music or whatever the company is. These guys want, if they are exploiting you or doing whatever, there are some things that you have to do yourself. Like I said, you got to study, you got to learn, you got to know the culture of this company, you got to know what you're stepping into. You've got to take some responsibility yourself, because if they are using you, you've got to be smart enough to realize that. I mean, I hear what you're saying, but again, bad behavior exists. It's there. And the company, yes, the company should say, hey, these are young employees. I'm going to teach them. I'm going to groom them. I don't know if that exists in today's business world. I think they just want sales, win, quick, move on. And it's ugly, but it happens. It does happen. And I repeat, I cannot atone for bad behavior.
Here is another comment. Accountability on both ends. However, some company executives operate in fear of the new generation taking over. I believe mentor and groom them so when you pass the torch, they are equipped with the tools to handle it. And so that's what, so I think we're all saying the same thing, that everybody got to do their part. You got to come in with a plan. You got to come in studying. You got to come in researching and knowing what's going on. And the company has to come in saying, hey, we recognize your talent and we're going to help you get to where you're trying to go, so that everybody in the room can win and not at the expense of the other. And we're hard pressed to find some companies that are willing to do that. But I think I hear you saying that they are out there.
Again, I'm going to go back to my experience at Def Jam. This guy just wanted me to talk. But I was like, okay, I can do that. But I didn't feel like I was really bringing anything to the table. And then when I got in the company and learned, I'm like, oh, they know nothing about radio. I mean, I went dug in the halls. I'm checking. Oh my God, they had no understanding. So I saw that hole. I saw a big gap that nobody really understood the culture of radio, the dynamics of what goes on. And what does the program director really go through when he's deciding what record he's going to play? They knew nothing about that. So I saw an opportunity to be different. That was my big shoe. That was my foot in the door, to not just be another employee going to the radio station to play my record. No, I had something unique. I had a skill that nobody in the company had, and I used it. I used it to the max.
I appreciate you saying that. Find the gap and fill it. I think that's what we're walking. That's one of the tips that we're walking away with. Find the gap and fill it, so that you can make sure that your presence is made known and that you are, I don't want to say you're irreplaceable, because they can still replace you, but you will make sure that you make your presence known and your energy felt in the space. We got about 1 minute left. Is there anything that you want to leave us with? Is there a way that people can contact you if they want to keep up with you? Like, what, we got about 1 minute, less than a minute. What would you like to say?
Real quick, listen, go to my website, MissJohnnieWalker.com. Go to NABFEME.org. And of course, we're on all the socials, Miss Johnnie Walker. Miss, because if you just do Johnnie Walker, you're going to get the liquor. So you have to put the MS, Miss Johnnie Walker there. I should have put that on my name there this morning. But all of the socials, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. My grandkids got me on TikTok. All of these social media platforms, we're there. You can follow us there. Please follow us, Miss Johnnie Walker, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and of course my website, MissJohnnieWalker.com. And the organization's website is NABFEME.org. Follow us.
We will put all of this on our follow.
We talk about women who jam, but we have to do that on the next one. But yeah, check that one out too. It's an all-female music platform, womenwhojam.com.
We'll put all of that on the follow-up flyer that we will post to the people so that they will know. You've got lots of people saying that they really enjoyed you. We are so glad. Thank you so much for joining us. Stay tuned right now. You got your girl Lola with 2 hours of jazz. You're talking about a woman who jams.
Yeah.
Lola, your girl Lola is in the house for the next 2 hours with women and men and other folks who jam. Don't touch that dial at KABF 88.3 FM, where we are the voice of the people. And I'm going to get her started with the song that Ms. Johnnie Walker mentioned earlier, Shaka Khan, I'm Every Woman. We'll see y'all next time.
Good one. Good one.